The arms deal trial involving former President Jacob Zuma and French arms company Thales is expected to be postponed as the outcomes of the reconsideration application are yet to be handed down. Newzroom Afrika senior politics reporter Ziyanda Ngcobo is watching that case. Ziyanda, there's been so many twists and turns into this case. I think a good place to start would be to bring us up to speed in terms of where we are when it comes to the beginning of this trial now.
Well, you'll recall, Kathy, that in February, Judge Piet Koen handed down his judgments, which basically dismissed the former president's application for leave to appeal. You'll recall that they are making a call, the former president rather, wants to have a lead prosecutor, Billy Downer, removed from the case, or at least be removed as lead prosecutor in this matter. And he took the matter to the Supreme Court of Appeal, which also upheld then Judge Piet Koen's judgments, saying that there would not be any reasonable prospects for success and that the issues being raised by the former president should be raised during the trial, or if they have to do with prejudice or fairness, they could also be dealt with after and challenging whatever judgment is made in regards to the trial. So the lawyers of the former president then filed a reconsideration application with the Supreme Court of Appeal, which is basically then seeking to ask the Judge President Mandisa Maya to reconsider the Supreme Court of Appeal's decision not to grant him leave to appeal. That is yet to be handed down, and the last time this matter was in court in April, the 11th of April, which was initially the trial date, it was said that Judge Piet Koen found no evidence that the former president was abusing legal processes, and that in fact they should allow the process happening at the Supreme Court of Appeal to play out before moving forward. So basically tomorrow it will be back to the situation that both counsels found themselves in on the 11th of April, and we're expecting just a few minutes in court to set a new date, and basically this matter is in the hands of the Supreme Court of Appeal at this stage.
Ziyanda, when we look at how much energy has been put by the lawyers of the former president in as far as appealing Judge Piet Koen's finding here, are we likely to see this matter end up in the Constitutional Court should the Supreme Court of Appeal stick to its initial judgment?
It's quite possible, because the former president feels strongly that he will not receive a fair trial and that he'd be prejudiced if Billy Downer, the lead prosecutor, heads up this case. He's cited, issues that he'd previously cited in his application for a permanent stay of the prosecution, that Billy Downer is someone who has is part of a larger political conspiracy against him. And, there was even a debate about whether or not, there should be a concession from the NPA to say, well, you can remove Billy Downer as the lead prosecutor, but keep him on the case. And the NPA said, well, he's got a title to prosecute. And you'll recall that the issue around the scope and how much, the scope of the understanding of title to prosecute was also something that was debated quite rigorously within the court. So, at this stage, we can expect that the president will take it all the way to the Constitutional Court. And you'll know that to be able to get access to the Constitutional Court, you have to prove that it would be within the interest of justice for them to even hear the matter, to even get a foot in the door. And if he does then get a foot in the door, then certainly these issues, which have been, of course, previously been dealt with by the lawyer courts, might actually have the ear of the justices at the apex court.
Ziyanda, just this weekend, we saw the former president holding an address of sorts from his Nkandla homestead. It was also live on several social media platforms. Did he talk about this case at all and what he's hoping his future will be?
Certainly, and I mean, he's actually even spoken about, you know, the issues within the ANC, that the ANC has not even been the same since the 2017 Nasrec conference. What the former president said over the weekend is something that we've heard before, Kathy, that there's a larger political conspiracy and that there are those, there are agents within the ANC, and even, you know, taking a swap at the courts, saying that they've been infiltrated. And so he genuinely believes that this is in the interests of fairness and justice for him, and he's always maintained that he wants his day in court. Of course, many would argue that with the various court delays that he's, you know, he's been accused of adopting a Stalingrad tactic. But in the last court hearing before the Pietermaritzburg High Court, Judge Piet Koen saying that there's actually no evidence of that, and this is merely a part of the legal processes and the rights afforded to someone who believes that they've been done wrong by the courts that they were seeking justice in.
Right, let's leave it there for tonight. As you heard from Ziyanda Ngcobo, a short appearance expected in the Pietermaritzburg High Court tomorrow where that matter is concerned, but certainly the trial is not likely to begin anytime soon.